The night of August 4th, 2024 will forever be etched in the memory of Liverpool. What began as a peaceful protest against police brutality following the death of a young man in custody escalated into a night of unprecedented violence and destruction. As darkness fell, a mob, fueled by anger and frustration, rampaged through the city centre, leaving a trail of shattered glass and smouldering debris in their wake. Amidst the chaos, a tragedy unfolded that shook the city to its core. 3 young women out for a night of celebration found themselves caught in the crossfire of the riot. Their deaths, as senseless as they were brutal, sent shockwaves through the community and ignited a firestorm of grief and anger. While the exact circumstances surrounding their deaths remain unclear, police have arrested 12 individuals in connection with the incident, with charges ranging from arson to assault. As dawn broke over a city reeling from the previous night's events, the true extent of the devastation became horrifyingly clear. Over 500 people were estimated to have participated in the riot, with the damage to property and businesses estimated to be in the millions. The epicenter of the destruction was the Toxteth neighborhood, a historically deprived area with a long history of tension with the police.
Their deaths have left a void that can never be filled. We are heartbroken and demand justice for our loved ones.
The scars of that night run deep, exposing the raw nerves of a community grappling with poverty, inequality, and a profound sense of disenfranchisement. Yet beneath the surface of anger and despair, a more insidious evil has taken root, one that preys on the most vulnerable members of society. Over the past decade, a disturbing pattern has emerged in towns and cities across the UK. The systematic sexual exploitation of young girls by gangs composed predominantly of British Pakistani men. The victims, often from troubled backgrounds or in the care system, are lured into a world of exploitation and abuse. Their cries for help silenced by fear and intimidation. The testimonies of these victims are harrowing, painting a picture of unspeakable cruelty and depravity. One young woman, Sarah, recounted her ordeal at the hands of a grooming gang in Rochdale. "They made me feel special," she said, her voice trembling like I was the only one who understood them. But it was all lies. They just wanted to use me. Sarah's story is sadly not unique. Across the country, hundreds, if not thousands, of young girls have been subjected to similar horrors, their lives shattered by the trauma of abuse. The issue of grooming gangs has ignited a firestorm of controversy, exposing deep-seated divisions within British society. Some accuse the authorities of turning a blind eye to the abuse for fear of being labelled racist, while others argue that the focus on the ethnicity of the perpetrators detracts from the wider issue of child sexual exploitation. The reality is far more nuanced. While it is crucial to acknowledge the role that cultural factors may play in these crimes, it is equally important to avoid generalizations and to recognize that child sexual exploitation is a complex issue with no easy answers. What is clear is that the current system is failing to protect vulnerable children. More needs to be done to address the root causes of child sexual exploitation, such as poverty, social isolation, and the lack of support for at-risk youth. Crucially, there needs to be a greater focus on early intervention and prevention, working with communities to identify and support potential victims before they are drawn into the web of abuse.
We must come together as a community to protect our children. It's about creating safe spaces and providing the support they need to thrive. This is not just a problem for one group, it affects us all.
Section 4. The seduction of extremism when hope turns to hate. In the aftermath of the riots and the revelations of grooming gangs, a palpable sense of fear and distrust has settled over the nation. This climate of fear has created fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root, offering simplistic solutions to complex problems and exploiting existing divisions within society.
The far right, in particular, has seized upon the issue of grooming gangs to fuel its narrative of cultural conflict, portraying Muslim communities as a threat to British values and identity. Their rhetoric, often laced with Islamophobia and xenophobia, has found a receptive audience among those who feel unheard and marginalized, further polarizing an already divided society.
The danger of this trend cannot be overstated. The rise of far-right extremism poses a direct threat to the very fabric of British society, undermining social cohesion and creating an environment of fear and intimidation. It is imperative that we challenge these ideologies at every turn, exposing their lies and bigotry, and promoting a message of tolerance, respect, and understanding. Section 5. Charting a path forward towards a more inclusive Britain. The challenges facing Britain today are real and complex, defying easy answers or quick fixes. The path forward requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations about identity, belonging, and the kind of society we want to build for future generations.
We must acknowledge the very real pain and anger felt by those who feel left behind by globalization and social change. We must address the root causes of inequality and injustice, creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background or postcode.
And we must find the strength to resist the siren song of extremism, choosing instead the path of dialogue, understanding, and compassion. The task ahead is not easy, but the stakes have never been higher. The future of Britain as a tolerant, diverse, and inclusive society depends on the choices we make today.